I just want to say, Ty, it's great to have you here. I want to just share and thank Kim Brandon, whose house I was at when I first heard you, and I said, man, that's Paul Robeson. But behind that beautiful voice is actually somebody with a great, great mission to engage all of the traumas that we are struggling with. And Jen Dog just sang to it, and Ty is going to speak to it. Thank you, love. Come on up. Actually, either one. You take the one you want.
I want to be able to move around a little bit.
Okay, can you? All right. Is that good?
You can take this clip off.
Okay.
Bam. Nice.
All right.
Thank you, everyone, for having me here. I want to give a shout out to the folks on Zoom. If y'all part of my crew, just say hey, Ty, in the chat. I got my son here, Aiden. I got one of my guys here, Tony, came all the way from Massachusetts. All right, so if you don't know me, my name is Ty Cutner, and I'm on a mission to heal the world. In 10 to 15 years, in all wars, crime, racism, murders, all of it, okay? Now, I'm going to first share my story with you, and then I'm going to share the tool that I'm going to use to heal the world. We good? Okay. So my life started with trauma. I was born and raised in Brooklyn, but my father was killed before I was born. Never got a chance to meet him. He died in May. I was born in July. My mom poured into me that I was golden, child of the family, gifted, talented, but she passed. We call him timeout?
Yes, we want to turn on the recording.
Oh, we missed the recording, so I got to start over? All right, no problem.
It's recording.
It's always been recording?
It's already recording.
All right, perfect. So my mom poured into me that I was golden child of the family, talented, gifted, funny, all that stuff, but she passed when I was 15 in the 10th grade. And when I lost my mom, I lost a part of me. It was a part of me that was so broken by losing her. How can we survive with our mom? She's the one who knows I'm gifted. How am I going to survive? I'm a black kid in Brooklyn. Easy for me to get caught up in some trap and get locked up and get rounded up with the rest of them, right? Fast forward 20-something years, I'm in my 30s. And it was one special therapy session that allowed me to retrieve that part that I lost. It blew my mind. One session? Not years and years in therapy? Well, how come the whole world doesn't realize our mind works this way? Why is this thing stuck in therapy? Give it to everyone, right? And we wouldn't kill each other the way we do. And so I learned it. Very difficult to learn IFS. It's called Internal Family Systems, or IFS for short. Very difficult to learn because it's very high demand. Tens of thousands of therapists on a wait list for years trying to get trained. I got trained 3 times in a matter of 18 months. And because I was coaching men, right, I had a group of men that I was coaching. I was coaching guys who were going through divorce, separation, cheating. I had a whole group of men to work with, to practice on. And I got real good, real fast. Now I'm considered a prodigy at the model. And so once I started to heal myself, I was asked to contribute to an IFS book, which became a bestseller. And when I wrote my chapter in that book, I said, I need to get my family involved in this because my family don't know what I do exactly. And they're not going to therapy. And even if they do go to therapy, would they know to ask for IFS? No, they'll just go to therapy looking for therapy, right? And so when I wrote my chapter, I had to go deep into my story about what happened and how I was retrieved from that. Okay? So that's my story. I'm going to go back a little bit while I introduce you to what IFS is. Okay? So like I said, IFS stands for Internal Family Systems. It's a psychotherapy model. It's been around for 40 years, evidence-based, trauma-informed. And the basic premise is that the human mind is a multiplicity. So physically, we have one body, but mentally, our mind is broken up into different parts. And these parts represent the voices we hear, the emotions we have, the dreams, and they're not all the same. Some of our parts like each other, some dislike each other. Some are young, some have different pains and hurts. Some of our parts we know of, some of our parts we don't know of. Who you think you are is a collection of parts, okay? In addition to the parts, there is a self, and the self never gets hurt, doesn't get damaged, it's undamageable. No matter how much trauma you went through in life, the self remained undamaged. And it's a relationship between the self and the parts that heals the wounds of the parts. But because we don't realize we have parts, because we all think we're one person, we're being led by our parts. So when a part of us gets angry, we become that part. We think like that part, we see the world through that part's eyes, we hear the thoughts of that part, and we're blended with the angry part. The world today is ruled by blended people. The leaders of our world are blended. That's why they kill each other. We're blended half the time. I'm blended now, trying to do a presentation, right? But I'm aware, okay? So back to my story, what happened, all right? When my mom passed, I was 15. In the 10th grade, I was a funny, cool, smart kid. Not the sad kid with no parents. That part got pushed out of the family. You can't go to school being sad, because if you go to school being sad, where are we gonna go to be normal? So that part got pushed out. We call that exile. So anytime you go through some trauma, you try to remain normal to the outside world. So parts of you, to protect you and keep you connected to the outside world, they'll push that part of you aside. It's like putting the child in the basement or the attic. And then you have other parts keeping that child there. So even I can go to my exile parts because parts of me are protecting me from that. Because my parts feared, if you go there, you're gonna cry. And if you get sad, you can't joke around anymore. People are gonna treat you like you're sad. That's not how we wanna be treated. We wasn't treated like that before mom passed, right? And so that part got pushed out. And when it gets pushed out, it gets stuck in time. So when you exile a part, they can't grow up. They get stuck their age, right? And so in that session, when I went inside, in IFS, we do something called going inside. And if we have some time here, you're ready to go inside and check on some of your parts because all your charts are trying to speak to you. All of your parts are trying to help you because they're your internal family, all right? So when I went inside, my eyes closed, before I couldn't go to this part. Anytime I would think about my mom, sadness would come over me. So I wouldn't talk about my mom. I wouldn't tell stories. You would have to ask me, what happened to your mom? You have to ask me verbatim, and I would try to get off the subject. So I went inside, closed my eyes. And you close your eyes long enough and you'll start seeing things, right? Similar to dreams, right? You'll start seeing where you are, who you are. So I close my eyes and I go inside, and that part of me was in my bedroom when I was 15, stuck in 1996. He looks at me and he says, how are you standing here if I'm sitting in this chair? How is there two of us? Confused. So we do something called a do-over, right? So things happen in life that you can't change, right? My parts felt like the only way we can get past this trauma is if mom came back to life. Since we know that's not possible, we're gonna be stuck with this pain forever. But we can do a do-over. So I went inside and I asked him, what did you want to happen when mom passed? What did you want to happen? You know she can't come back to life. And he said to me, I wanted somebody to say that they see me. They're not gonna let me be some knucklehead stuck in Brooklyn. They're gonna guide me to being who I'm supposed to be. Nobody did that for me or for him. So he got stuck. So I told him, you know I'm not 15 anymore? No, you're not. Nah, bro. I've been not being 15. I'm like 38 right now. He's like, what? I'm like, yeah, like I actually, I can see you. I can give you what you need. Like, really? So once I connected him to me, I was like, you want to come out this room and hang out with me for a little while? Like, yeah. So we come out of that bedroom, you open the door, and who's outside the door? My other parts, the ones that pushed him in the room, the ones that told him he couldn't go to school. They didn't want to push him out, but they didn't know any other way, so it was a group hug. He's out the room. He's out the room. So we give him a group hug, and I asked him, okay, where do you want to go now? All right, when you retrieve your parts, you can take them anywhere you want. Your eyes are closed, your imagination is wide. I said, where you want to go now? He said, I want to see how good you are playing Street Fighter after all these years. So you guys may not know what Street Fighter is, but that's a video game we played back in the day, right? And so the first thing he wants to do is challenge me because he thinks I'm older, I might be better at the game. And then after a while, I drive around my old neighborhood with him in my passenger seat, imagining my 15-year-old me is with the 38-year-old me driving around the neighborhood. And it was uncanny because Jin Dog knows Bushwick, right? Bushwick has changed a lot since I was 15, right? Now, you go into a neighborhood and you may not realize what used to be there. You know that building wasn't always there when you were a kid, but I forgot what was there before. He knew. He's like, that was a chicken spot. Like, oh, snap, I forgot all about that. He knew. He time traveled because to him, it was just 1996. So after he spent some time in my life, I asked him, now that you know who I am and what I do, what do you want to do in my life? He said, I want to go back to school. I want to go to school because I didn't get the chance to go to school. I had to stay home because I was sad. And so then we created a training for kids in schools called the Well Dressed Academy, right? So all the things that I started to uncover was other parts of me, right? Younger parts of me who didn't know I was older, right? And 2 years after this happened, I was able to connect to my mom, okay? So I know we lost someone here, Luis, Here's what I have to say. We don't die. Okay? Physically, our body may not be here, but parts of us is still your family members. Your ancestors are in there too, if you knew how to listen to yourself. So one day, I was doing a session. So I do one-on-one sessions with guys. And many of my clients, they're not the same people I would walk around and meet, So one of the guys, he was in Massachusetts, motorcycle mechanic. I've been doing some sessions with him. He got on the call and he said, Todd, this is going to be a doozy. I was like, what's going on, brother? He was like, 2 days ago, my friend just committed suicide. I was like, so he's down, right? He's down because he felt like, well, the last time he called me, I told him I was busy and I called him back. I didn't get a chance to do that, kind of like the hug you wish you gave Luis, right? He's like, I wish I would have called him and I wish I would have called him back and I'm down and all that. And so I helped him do something we call unblend. So like I said before, when a part of us takes over us, it blends and we can't see but what that part sees. So if somebody made us angry, we can only see what that part want to see about the situation. So he can only see that he wasn't being a good friend, but I helped him unblend. And I told him, I was like, okay, you wasn't there for him then, understand. But how much you want to be there for him now? I want to be there for him a lot. Well, you can be there for his kids. You can be there for his wife. You can be that brother that you was when he was alive. And that allow him to unblend and come to that part of him that wanted to help his family. And within that 45-minute session, he was able to stop crying and see a path forward to help the family. So after that session was over, I heard this voice saying, wow, Tyrone, you got such a big heart for these people. You don't even know him like that. I was like, that sounds like my mom talking to me. So then I went and I do a little ritual where I close my eyes and I lay down and I just see what comes up. And I started to hear a conversation about my mom. So when I was a kid, my mom would brag about me. Like, you seen Tyrone, he was able to put that together, no tools, nothing. He put it all together by himself, right? So parts of me will be like excited. That's how I become a confident kid. That's why I believe I can heal the whole world, right? Who's out here thinking they can heal the whole world? There gotta be some kid thinking that. Kid, parts of me are doing that mission, right? And so I heard that and I closed my eyes and I started hearing this conversation and it sounded like a conversation between my mom and my dad, who I never met. And she just bragged, you see what he's doing down there? He's saving, he helping people, he's doing that stuff. And I started to cry, like a strong emotional cry. And then I started laughing right after that, because I was like, whatever is happening is making me cry. And I'm skeptical when it comes to, those type of things, right? The woo-woo stuff. This happened within a matter of 15 minutes, 3 or 4 times this strong cry and laughter. And I came out of that and I journaled, started journaling, and I'm still hearing it. And then I'm journaling, I look up and I say, a part of me is my mom. And she says, finally, I've been trying to get your attention this whole time. How can I leave you? I'm always going to be a part of you. And I say this to say, there is nothing special about me. If I can do this, so can all of y'all. And ever since then, I could bring my mom in. I say, Mom, what you think about this? And I'll hear her. Well, Tyrone, I don't know if you should be. She knows how to talk to me in a way to get me, because I think everything I do is right. But my mom, she'll talk to me in a way that get me to understand me, right? If you listen, you can start hearing some of your people. You can start hearing some of the people that you love in there. And even the people that you have issues with, if they pass with issues, you can work those issues out, okay? So one of the things that I've been able to do, when I wrote the chapter in my book, I wrote all my plans in between the lines, right? Just for me. So when I listen to it, oh, that's going to be for that. Because I'm going to have a whole series of, we got to change the music, right? So we're going to have a whole new music label, right? Because music can connect to a lot of things. But right now, the music is being guided by money only, not by healing, not by love, right? And so I'm going to have a whole music label. Kids are going to help me with that. I'm going to have a whole TV stations and everything. I'm going to have a Netflix streaming platform where all of the awareness has awareness of these parts, so we can work on our problems with our spouses, work on problems with our kids. We can work on problems with each other in a way that's harmonious, right? Because what I realize is that the human race is a family. Every one of us is family to each other. We're connected by space and time. If I came in here angry, that would impact y'all right now, right? So we're all connected. If I put angry music out there and you listen to that, it's going to impact you. When you close your eyes long enough, you start connecting to who's there, you're going to find a part of you that's similar to a part of me. So I'm going to get you. I'm going to understand you. Okay? So when you do this work, I'm going to give you a little bit of some tools so you all can, I want you to leave y'all hanging, right? So one of the first things you want to do is you want to recognize that now that you realize you're a multiplicity, saying I is inaccurate. What you want to say is a part of me, right? This gives you access to other parts. Because if I say I'm sad, now I am sad. And when I'm sad, I have to ask somebody else to help me with the sadness. But if I instead say a part of me is sad, I can now get to see that part of me, speak to it, understand it from a place of compassion, right? Because I know the depths of the sadness of my parts. I know their stories. I know where they are stuck in time. It's not about today. There's no time in our mind. We can all have a dream tonight that we're in high school. Some of y'all still in high school, but you can all have a dream that you was in high school. And are you going to tell yourself, I thought I finished this already? No, you're going to act out the dream. You're going to act like you're in high school because there's no time in your mind. A lot of us are walking around and our parts are still stuck in time. As a matter of fact, we're all dreaming right now. We're all dreaming right now. The thing is that we don't realize it because our eyes are open and we're being distracted by the dream happening in our mind. But our mind is always actively dreaming. Okay? You close your eyes long enough, you'll start to see the dream. And you can interact within your own dreams. So one thing that I had to do, okay, when my mom passed, she, the last couple of years of her life, it wasn't really great. She kind of slowly passed away from being sick. Right? And it was tough in the house. I had to become an adult before I needed to be an adult. And some of the things that happened in the house, I was angry at from when I go into the memory. But once I started doing this work, I was able to go back into the memory and pull myself out of myself. Because in the memory, I was a kid and I was seeing it from this perspective. But I was able to pull myself out of being myself so I could see the whole picture. And I could realize that's why she did that. And I was able to forgive her, because I had new understanding. And when you're able to forgive those you love, even if there's some pain behind that, you gain the gift that they give you, right? So many gifts my mom gave me, many gifts my grandfather gave me, many gifts your people left you. But if you can only remember the negative thing, you're gonna push out the gift because you're gonna push out their memory, right? I was able to work out things with my sister. My sister was 9 when my mom passed, and I had this burden on my shoulder, right? All of our parts have burdens. That's the wound that our parts end up having, burdens, right? These are extreme beliefs. They believe that they need to do these things or else something bad would happen. That's why you operate in certain ways. So out of my part, that was like, you have to take care of your sister. Tyron is my full name, right? Tyron, take care of your sister, take care of your sister. Everybody told me that. I got custody of my sister when I was 23, right? She was 16, but she was a mess, running around, getting in trouble, having fights. I couldn't handle it. So I had to let her go. And our relationship was turmoil after that. And every time she'll call me, you may have family members now, when they name comes, oh, what's it gonna be now, right? How many of y'all have family members like that? Oh boy, it's gonna be something, right? So every time she would call me, I would do that. So that part, I would get blended with that part of me, that's saying, if she's messing up in her life, then I'm not taking care of my sister. So I will wag my finger, what is it now? Why you keep messing up? And every time I do that, she'll get blended with her parts, trying to defend herself. And this will go on for years. We wouldn't talk to each other. We wouldn't work anything out with each other. And when I got this IFS thing, I said, you know what? Let me see if this IFS thing can help with this. I'm trying to find something it doesn't work for. And so far, it worked for everything. Everything I can think of, everything all my clients could think of, right? So I'll bring this into my session. My sister, my grandfather passed away, right? She had these photos of our family members. These photos were people, it was a photo of my grandmother, my mom. The traumas passed down through our life, right? My mom had traumas while she passed early. Her mom died in a house when she was 7 years old. And that trauma, it radiated through the whole family, right? And so there was a photo of my grandmother who looked identical to my mom. Identical. When I seen the picture, I was like, that's my mom right there. My grandfather said, that ain't your mom, boy. That picture was taken in 1963. Your mom only 2 years old when that picture taken. I was like, you serious? Just like her, right? So when my grandfather passed, we were looking for these photos. Who has the photos? My sister. Now, my sister don't have a good place to stay. She's going from place to place. We're like, bring back the photos. He gave them to me. I'm keeping them. He gave them to me, right? She got blended with that protector part, protecting the photos. Long and behold, what happens to the photos? She loses them. All of them, right? Photos we can never get, never replace, right? And so I'm angry, burden on my shoulder. So I say, you know what? How can I forgive her for this? I can't shake it. That part of me didn't want to shake that. I brought that into my therapy, my IFS, right? And so here's what happened. I got a chance to speak to that part of me, right? And when I spoke to that part, if I allowed that part to speak to the outside world, we will all agree she messed up. She lost the photos, right? If I speak to any of y'all from that part's perspective, you all are going to agree with me. But once I was able to unblend and speak to that part, and I asked them, I'm like, okay, technically we're now the patriarch of our family. Is that how we want to be with our family? We want to keep them with these grudges? No. Is there anything she can do about it at this point? No. There's nothing she can do about it. Did she do it on purpose? Did she want to do that? No. What we can do is we can find new photos. We can go to old family members and see if we can collect other photos, right? Like, yeah, we can do that. And we can have her help us too, right? Yeah, actually, we'll do that. And if we had her help us, we will find photos we would never find if she didn't lose these photos, right? That's true. So after that, having that dialogue, that part relaxed. And then when I see my sister call me again, I miss my sister. I've been blending with this part so much that my other parts couldn't see my little sister. She didn't have to apologize. She didn't have to, none of that. It was just an understanding that happened within me, and that was it. And ever since then, I've been connected to my sister. And she's on this mission with me too, healing the world, all right? So I say all that to say is that there's some healing that can happen. And the beautiful thing about IFS is you're the healer. The healer is within you. When I do an IFS session with someone, it's not me healing them. It's me helping them access their self. But like I said, because we think we are the collection of our parts, we barely get access to self. When you get access to self, you can start healing the wounds of the parts you think you are, which I like to call your stalling lineup of parts, the parts you think you are. Once you start healing those parts, you'll start creating internal trust. Your parts trust you. My younger parts, they're like elementary age, 5, 10. They want to heal the world because they think it'll be great. It'll be like a video game. We're going to get the high score. We win the game. They're going to have statues and my name is going to be all over the place. That's why they want to heal the world, right? And so they realize that I'm an older man, right? And so when I need to do some type of work, they'll come and they'll add their color to it. They'll add their flavor. Don't make it boring. Make it fun. Put jokes in it and all that, right? So that's how they interact with me. And when I see everybody here, guess who I see? Kids. I can see the kid in everyone's face here. Those who are kids and those who aren't physically kids. The kids are in there and they're looking to talk to you, right? They want to know you and they have a lot of wisdom, okay? Kids have a lot of wisdom when they're connected to wise adults, all right? So for the family of Luis, he's not gone. You can hear him. You can connect to his essence, right? You're going to dream about him. He's going to come in your dream, and what you've known about him and what you've connected to, you can carry on that wisdom. So my mom, in person, when you listen to my audiobook, you're going to hear I impersonate my mom. I'm going to bring her back to life in stories. My story is going to be shared in like a Netflix type series where you're going to see how things were healed, because the same thing that I've done, right? I walk you down my path so you can walk down a similar path, right? In your parts and where did your stuff come from? And so once you have this awareness, together, we can be family with each other. Okay? How's my time?
It's pretty good.
It's pretty good? Okay. Okay.
Do we have some folks in the house that want to talk right now? Back to you?
Yes, I'm curious if anything has struck up for folks and they want to ask me a question, or you may have parts a little worried, don't want to come on the stage and tell about my dirty laundry. Right? If you have parts like that, just recognize them. Just be there for them. But if anyone wants to ask a question, I can guide you into a meditation if not. You want to guide into a meditation? Okay. Yeah, let's guide into a meditation. Then we may have parts that want to speak after that. Yeah? Okay. Let me grab a chair. I want to sit down and be at y'all level.
Can I ask one question first?
Sure.
Hang on just a second, we did my.
Oh, sorry. I'm wondering what you're making me think of people I've known from the African American community who are very much more in touch with the idea of the ancestors than a lot of us. Do you think that some of your work comes out of that or is related to that history?
Definitely. So IFS was founded 40 years ago. And the founder of the model, Dick Schwartz, he didn't invent this, he discovered it. He discovered the nature of the mind, the true nature of the mind, that we've always been a multiplicity. We've always been that, right? And from doing the work and observing how people behave, we can understand the type of parts that come out. We have parts that manage us, our managing parts, keep you in line, right? Make sure you pay your bills, do things, right? You gotta go to sleep now, time to go to sleep, get off that, do that, right? That's how they sound to you. Then you have parts that distract you. If you go through any type of pain, you may have parts that's gonna distract you from the pain. A lot of our addictions come from that, a lot of our scrolling on social media, but also some of the wonders of our life come from we call them firefighter parts, come from our firefighter parts. Like stop working and go get some fresh air, right? Those parts. And then we have the exile parts. Those are ones that we pushed away, right? And when you connect in self, it's described as the God within us or our soul, right? It's the connection to the divine, and self looks and resembles the same in all of us. Myself is going to resemble yourself. It's going to be as confident, it's going to be as compassionate, right? And so when you connect more and more, you start realizing that your parts are your ancestors. We had parts when we were in the womb. Any mothers here who had multiple children, you'll know one child was a little bit different when they were hungry than the other child. What parts would that behave in that way? So we have parts before we were in the womb. We even have parts that don't have verbal, they can't speak it. They're pre-verbal parts. So they didn't have a language. So when you're going through some type of pain, you may feel an emotion, anxiety. Normally what we're told is run away from the anxiety, overcome it, be disciplined. With this work, we turn to it, we listen to it. Because all of our parts are trying to help us. So when there's some anxiety or some fear, what are you trying to tell me? Ask it and then wait for an answer, and you'll receive an answer, right? So yes, a lot of the work from IFS has connected to many ancient civilizations. Many of the religions have spoken about us in this way, right, as a multiplicity. So a lot of this is very ancestral, and we're just scratching the surface of this, right? So it's going to be a lot. That's why I want to get us all on board together as a movement, so that we all start doing our own work and reporting back what we discovered. So that I can say, wow, that was amazing that you was able to do that. The things that I'm able to do, the time travel that I can do, I report that back so I can say, you can do it now, right? So the more and more that we all do this work, the more that we advance our inner awareness. Thank you. Yes.
Hi, Ty. My name's Leora. Thank you for all that. I have a question about what you said about retrieving the retrieval that you went in and did with your teenager. Was that something you did yourself, or was that something that you were guided with, like in a session? How did that happen? And if you did it by yourself, how the heck did you do that?
No, I was in a session. So this is before. So like I said, I was destined to be doing, I'm living my life's work. I've traced back all the dots to my life before birth to why I'm this way, why I dress this way, why I do the work I do, right? And so my first session was with Dr. Richard Schwartz, founder of the model, and that unburdening was also with Dr. Richard Schwartz, right, in the session. And so it's very difficult for us to get in touch with our own exiles, right, because we have protector parts protecting us from our own stuff, right? And so we have to have somebody lend their self to us to help guide us to that place.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Yes. We got one more.
Hi, Ty. Thank you for this presentation. Good to see you again. You have an organization where you help people with their attire, and you were just talking about that part of you. What creates that image for you with the hat and your fashion?
Yeah, so many things, right? The hat came from The Godfather. You know, one day I was going, life was sucking, and I was watching The Godfather, and a part of me said, well, Michael Corleone went and hit his problems like this. And we weren't wearing jeans and sneakers and t-shirts either. You need to dress like a man. So then I started dressing with my professional clothes, and the world looked at me different. Now, I didn't know that this was going to be my superhero uniform, which is what it really is, right? Like, I walk through the world as somebody because I'm on a mission, and this attire allows me to walk in places and get what I need to do for the people that's helping me with this mission, right? And so because I was my mom always pointed out my gifts and talents, so I became a person similar to that. When I see someone that has a talent, I'll point it out to them. That's why I became a coach, right? I develop people. I see their great talents and gifts. I can see their parts. I know where my guys, the people I coach, I know where they're headed because I meet their parts the same time they're meeting their parts. And I get to know what their parts want. And so I guide them through that process, right? Same thing's going to happen here. Some of you may interact with a part that you didn't know was there. So y'all ready to get into that? All right, perfect. It's going to be short. So I want you all to get into a comfortable place. Get yourself relaxed. You can close your eyes. That's the best way to do it. I'm going to start with some deep breaths. In through the nose. And out through the mouth. Let's do 2 more. Now, I want you to focus your attention inward. And I want you to call inside and just say, who wants to get my attention? And then wait for an answer. You may hear something. You may see something. And once you hear something, you can ask the part, what do you want to tell me? What do you want to talk about? And you wait to see what comes up. Now, if you have a lot of things going on in your head, a lot of thoughts, a lot of memories, you can ask inside, please, just one at a time for now. And then notice how that feels when you make that request. Now, if a part has come to your attention and it's speaking to you, or you're speaking to it, or you sound like you're speaking to yourself, just continue the dialogue with that part. What else do you want me to know? And then you wait for what the part has to say. For those of you who feel like you're not hearing anything, you can ask your parts, what are some things that we're currently concerned about or excited about? You can wait for that answer to come up. And the important thing is that all of your parts are trying to help you. So when a part comes up, you can ask them, how do you help me? What role do you have in my life? And see what it says. Now, once you connect to a part, let it know that this won't be the last time you connect to it in this way. That you now know how to listen to yourself in a way that you didn't before. And that you'll be coming back to spend more time with them. And then I want you to show some appreciation to your parts for speaking to you, for making themselves known to you, and let them know that you will continue this conversation later on today. They could just reach out to you, and you'll be listening for them. And then once you feel like that's complete, I want you to turn your attention back to your breath. And let's do 2 more deep breaths. How was that? Just know that all of your parts are trying to help you. You turning in this way to them, finally, you tune off the outside world and you connect to your internal world. Okay? The reason why I believe I can heal the world is because I've already seen it in my internal world. I've already solved many problems with the people in my internal family, and there were no guns. I didn't have to kill anybody. I didn't have to fight anybody. I didn't have to push anybody around. I was able to work together with all my family internally. So I now have the blueprint of how to heal the world externally. And that's how we truly make change. Me personally, I feel like many movements, there's always an enemy, right? In order for us to make change in the world, we have to get somebody else to stop doing what they're doing. But those people that are doing those things, no matter how harmful they are, their parts believe they're helping them. So by us trying to stop them, they're going to be met with resistance from their parts. One of my very first sessions was about a part of me that wanted to work and a part of me that wanted to relax all the time. So any entrepreneur, yeah, I know this tied and true situation. Get to work, start working, work. Oh, this is boring. Let's do something else. So then I do something else. I relax. Relax too long, get back to work. You got bills to pay. So I can't relax when I need to relax, can't work when I need to work. But once I worked it out with those 2 parts, once they realized they were on a mission together, that they're brothers and a part of the same family, I didn't have that resistance to work anymore the same way. And it happened in 45 minutes or less. Our world is polarized like this now. Men and women, young and old, red and blue, America gets everybody, Ukraine, Russia, all these is just blended parts. If we work it out internally first, we'll be able to work it out externally. All right? Yes. Yes. Thank you.
So that's $1.5 million. And what I think so much is the potential for this as the, oh, I'm so sorry, that this is our ethical culture. At the end of the day, this is the ethical culture of masses of us. Thank you, Ty, so very much.